Hello friends, welcome back to the art room with Mr. Eck. Guess what? It's paper mache time. That's right, we're going to be learning about paper mache today. So, in case you're not familiar, let me explain what paper mache is. Paper mache is a sculpture made primarily out of paper. And so you have to build some kind of a base first, usually out of newspaper, wadded up newspaper and tape, or some cardboard. Works really great for a lot of projects. And that's called an armature. The base is called an armature. So there's your art word for the day, armature. So you make your armature first. Then you have to get some liquid glue. And there are some recipes I know online where you can make your own glue. I make mine from a powder that I get from my art supply stores. And you just mix in some water and let it sit for about a week. And you have to soak the paper strips. You can use newspaper or just white paper, but you have to get it really wet, and then you squeeze the extra back in the tub, and then you place it on there, and it'll be soaked with this liquid glue so it sticks. And basically this becomes like the skin that you put on your armature, and when it dries, it's hard enough to paint. I know from experience though that if you do your whole armature, all of your strips with newsprint, it's really hard to paint over that, so it's not visible anymore. So in class, we're going to do our first couple layers with newsprint, and then we're going to layer on top of that with some cut white paper, so it's easier to color. And oh, hey, look, it's my friend Blarglon. Hey, Blarglon, what's up? Yeah, I was just making a video. Well, yeah, I'm telling them about paper mache. So you can't hear him because he speaks telepathically, and that doesn't really work on videos. So anyway, he's just real excited because paper mache is his favorite art to make. So did I forget anything? We ready? All right. So he says now it's time to move on and to show you how we're going to make our armature and what we're going to be making with paper mache today. And let's get to it. Alright, so what we are going to be making with paper mache is our own lightsabers. So it's an important part of every Jedi's progression to be a Master Jedi, to make their own lightsabers. So you guys are my Padawan learners, and you're working towards becoming Master Jedi, so it's time to make your own lightsaber. So I just want to show you an example of some of the different lightsabers that have been in Star Wars. And notice how there's different ridges, there's different shapes. Some of them they all have like different unique tops. Some of them are very skinny. That part's not going to really work for what we're doing, but you can always add some extra stuff to it. So look, there's knobs, there's like stripes that kind of stand out. So think about how you would like yours to work, and we're going to first build our armature, and then we will add the paper mache as a coating on top. Alright, so everybody's going to get a tube to start off with, and there's going to be some tape at your table. And so the first thing we're going to do is tape up the bottom of our lightsaber. By the way, we're not doing the light part, we're just doing the handle. So tape that closed, and then I'm going to have a tub of scrap cardboard. And so you're just going to cut whatever you need to add to this to make this unique. I would suggest doing like a long strip and then wrapping that around and taping it down with the tape. Please do not wrap up your whole handle in tape. That's not necessary. We're going to cover it all with paper mache. So just do enough to keep the pieces you're adding nice and secure. And when your armature is ready, then you can start putting the skin of your lightsaber on your paper mache. So at that point, I'm going to show you specifically in the video, I'm going to show you how to do a scissor technique to get the extra glue off, because you don't want it dripping glue everywhere. It's not necessary. We'll get to that in a minute. First off, the armature. So let me explain a few things about my armature, just to give you some ideas. Everybody's lightsaber should look different, but I put a skinny strip of cardboard around the bottom, so it's got kind of a lip on the top and the bottom. I used a water bottle lid for the button. You don't have to have that, but it's an option. I did a couple strips here because I just wanted a raised vertical line. I put a box thing. It's just I took a strip of cardboard and I folded it in thirds, so it kind of makes this box that comes up off. I got that idea from Darth Vader's lightsaber, and I have I have 3 strips here just to give it some stripes and some bumpiness. Of course, all this will get smoothed out a little bit when we add the paper mache, but that's what I'm going to be using. So let's talk about paper mache. So you're going to have a bunch of newspaper strips. We're going to do a couple layers of this first, and then we're going to do a couple layers of white, because that's going to be easier to color. But just for since I've got a bunch of this and to save on materials, we're going to do a couple layers of this first. So let me show you how to properly use the glue for paper mache, how to put it on, and then we're going to start doing it. Alright, so this part's a little gloopy, a little messy, but there's no way of getting around that. So just embrace it and have fun. You can wash your hands before you leave. So I'm going to get a strip of newsprint. I'm going to put it in the paper mache glue. I'm going to completely submerge it. When you pull it up, it's going to have a bunch of that gloopy stuff on it. You're going to make scissors with your finger like this. Put it around the strip, and you're going to pull the strip through your fingers, and see all that glue? That needs to go back in the tub. This glue takes me like over a week to make a batch of, so please let's not waste it. All extra glue goes back in the tub. Then you're going to place it on your armature. Wet paper can form very nicely to your armature. So see that? Oh, there's my camera. See how it forms right over this bump I made. So now I'm going to do that again. And the good thing is, after you do a couple of strips, you don't have to keep doing the scissor thing, because your armature is going to have lots of glue on it, your finger is going to have a lot of glue on it, and once everything's nice and wet, you can just go paper strip by paper strip and just layer it up. And that's when it goes a lot faster. So the rest I'm going to do this time lapse, and you guys can watch me layer it up. Alright, so I did several layers of newspaper with paper mache, and then I did several layers of white. By the way, the white paper looks kind of see-through when you're putting it on, and you can still see the newspaper through it, but don't worry, once it dries it becomes pretty solidly white, and it'll be great for painting. As you're putting that on there, make sure that the paper is nice and soaked, and smooth everything down. You don't want any pieces sticking up. The paper is very formable, sculptable, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You can form it pretty nicely when it's wet. So be sure that everything is nice and stuck down and smooth before you set it off to dry. So my lightsaber is dry now, and I'm going to paint it with some silver paint, and then I'm going to add some details in black once the silver is dry. So I'm going to paint the whole thing silver. I'm going to go on top of that with some black paint, and then it will be done. So let's do that real quick. Well, here it is, my young Padawans, my finished lightsaber. I think it turned out pretty cool. I think the silver paint looks great, and looks like I need to make a few touch-ups with the black paint, but all in all, I think it turned out pretty cool. A couple thoughts looking back on it. Making this long double ridge here, this was 2 pieces of cardboard that I put on, was a great idea because it raised it up high enough that after I did the paper mache, it's still very noticeable, and so that gave me a clear thing to kind of accentuate on my design. So this is raised up, you see that? I had put some things here that were only 1 piece of cardboard thick, and I can barely fill them. So the bigger you make something that sticks off, the more likely it's going to be noticeable. My little box that I put down here turns out really good. My button turned out really nice. It stands out nicely. And I like that the top and the bottom are a little bit thicker because I put a strip of cardboard around them. It just adds a little bit of interest, you know, just so it's not a flat tube. And after that, it's just fun. So if you wanted to add like a lightsaber blade to this, there may be some kind of like a piece of foam or something. I definitely didn't want to do that in class because I don't want kids hitting each other with lightsabers. So we're just doing the handle here, but if you want to elaborate at home, that's between you and your parents. So that is our paper mache lesson. Hope you had a great time, and be responsible with your lightsabers, folks. See you next time in the art room.